start with the team and then we'll get on to him. Like, how important was that result for you?
It's important because we needed to conquer a weekend where we had a double in short turnarounds and all of that type of stuff. I talked about that Friday, so that's why it was important, so we can gain a little bit of momentum as a team. And obviously BC's performance was extraordinary, but I didn't even realize when I looked at the box score at the end of the game, we had 4 other guys in double figures. We had 22 assists, so I truly believe that was a reflection of us playing the right way, and it's great to see that someone can have a tremendous individual performance, but other guys were dialed in as well.
You've seen a lot. Like, where does that sort of sit in your memory bank right now?
Oh, like the best. He was in a great groove. You could see the flow and the momentum in the first quarter, but then the second quarter, it's challenging to make the shots that he was making, but like we had great synchronization with our teammates, and the cadence of our offense was at a great level. And when you have an elite shot maker like that, it's beautiful to watch.
When it got to the point where the record was actually possible,
yeah.
and he went 45 and 46 to him was possible on his own record, did it pop into your head at all that we need to keep this going and get this, because it's so hard to even be within range of it?
Being brutally honest with you, the only thing I actually thought about was him getting 60. Selfishly, I wanted to be a piece of that. But players take these things in different ways. So as I always say, when a player's performing and in the zone like that, the worst thing I can do is try and influence it, because that was just music, that was poetry, just the way our team was playing, and them working for him. So I just need to admire and watch and let it unfold.
With 1.4 seconds on the clock, and you put the time out
Yep.
to advance, and everybody in the building, every
Yep.
player on the court knew the ball was going
Yeah.
to him.
Yep.
Did you think there was any chance it was going to work out when they were going to put 5 guys in him?
Look, I always live in hope with that. So it was great that Hiram found a way to, find him. We needed the court to just be a little bit longer.
What was it like, Bryce?
Just one of those games, I guess, where you're just in the flow state. I knew it was a very big game. I didn't have, score in my mind, but I was just very focused to make sure I was at the level I needed to be at. And as a team now, we was all just locked in, and it showed the whole game.
When did you know that you were about to break your 45 record individually? Were you aware of that mark at that point?
Nah, I think I got an and one, and I think I heard somebody over the intercom say that was 40, and that was the first time I realized anything.
Did you think you were having a big one at that point? Were you aware that it was significantly larger than just a normal game, or were you so locked in you never have any idea?
I mean, I knew I was making a lot of shots, but I made a conscious effort to make sure to not know where I was at points-wise, because it didn't matter. I wanted to stay in that zone. At any time you start to pay too much attention and stuff, that's when the zone leaves you.
What about when the 51 became a chance, and then beyond as 60 became a chance? Were you aware of it then?
Nah, at the end of the day, as much as I was shooting the ball well, New Zealand was hitting big shots, so the game was still close. So luckily that still had my attention. Like I said, I was aware I was making shots, but as far as the points, I wasn't really paying attention to that at all.
You had so many big games. It was so different feeling out in the court that compared to other games where you take over but you don't have that number of points. Did it feel any different?
No, I think I just continue to shoot more, because there's been plenty games where I'll have a 15 to 18 point quarter, and then maybe I don't shoot as much throughout the game, kind of sporadically, but I felt like every quarter was the same this time, so that might have been the only difference.
What's the highest total you got at any level, high school?
This is the one.
What was your previous best?
I've always said I believe 50 one time in this summer league game in high school, so that was the story I used to always stick to, but that's washed now.
How thrilling is it to achieve this step for you?
I mean, it's cool, honestly. Like, I'm never really big on stuff like this, but I think something of this significance, I'd be lying if I said this wasn't special, especially because, you know, it wasn't something I was expecting or set out to do. So, and we won, and this was a pivotal time. I think this is our first time winning a Friday, Sunday game this season. So it's good momentum for us as a team as well.
And having seen the other side of it with Bateman and Gould against this team this year, does that even add to the chapter in your book in your own way?
It's just going around in the air. It was my turn, I guess.
When you reflect on the way that the season's gone and him being injured and not being able to play, and that was match because he's got 38 minutes today, which he took the other night. He won't put too much into it. How hard is it to do what he's done and play that 38 and not play a lot over the past 6 weeks?
Well, like I touched on it Friday night in the fact that he does a great job when he's in like the injury phase of doing whatever he can. So when he bounces back, he's ready to go full tilt. I have to be mindful when we string those games along, you know, of his minutes. But we had the FIBA window where, you know, practice was important through that period. I thought it was really important that he got those 2 games before the window so he had a base and he could build on that. We were just fortunate the other night that he didn't have to log heavy minutes. So if a game like tonight happened, he was ready to go with the minutes and the expectation.
Did you feel like you played 38? Or did you feel it's heavier than a normal game when you have heavy minutes, based on the fact you haven't played a lot this year?
No, I would say the first doubleheader we had when we played Phoenix and Brisbane, I felt it a lot going into that Brisbane game because in that month I had off, I think I only had 2 actual practices and then 2 games in 3 days. So that back end took a lot out of me. But I think after having that and then having the FIBA break to practice and all that, that's when I got my sea legs back. So this was basically back to normal.
How bad was
So he was battling it a little earlier on in the week, and then it's just like I don't know the full extremities, but he had to see a doctor Thursday. He battled through Friday, and then he just kind of deteriorated his body. He's sick, so he'll be back.
Obviously, at Brisbane, I know you were
Yep.
I feel like you've been going around.
Sure.
You have to separate guys at the moment to make sure that there's not too much.
Yeah, look, I would say we're very mindful of that to make sure that we can limit, you know, the accessibility of something of that going around our group. So that that's where KP just tuned in from home tonight.
And then the oldest bloke in your list is stand next to Taco Fall for 5 minutes at the end. I think out there, but I imagine that was the matchup for the entire game.
Absolutely.
Why did you choose Jesse for that job specifically?
Just so he can show his grandkids a photo against the tall guy.
Seriously?
No, no. For who we are, what we're trying to get done on both ends of the floor, and Taco's a unique player with the presence that he brings at both ends of the floor, and Jesse was the man for the job.
Yeah, John, you were asked after James Bateman's performance what you actually thought of that, and I thought your response at the time was pretty fair. But when it's your own player doing something so special like this tonight, do you get to enjoy it as a coach?
Like any time one of my players is playing like that, it's a special moment because what I would say is the NBL has seen some very good individual performances in the last month, and sometimes you don't realize like a great performance in front of you. Wildcat fans have a level of expectation, but they got a special viewing tonight. So you certainly have to enjoy the moment, and as I seem to say quite a bit, is people don't understand the amount of time, effort, and just being methodical about being a professional. And then when those moments happen, being able to capitalize. And that's what the great players do, is when they do get in that zone, they capitalize, and tonight was a special performance.
When you look back 15 years, did your 40-point performance create a special bond with you and Trev, who was your coach at the time? And do you think this will do something similar to you and Bryce with your relationship for the rest of your lives?
Well, it didn't move the barometer on my relationship with Trevor. BC and I.
But I mean, just give you that memory that you can always reflect on.
Oh, like absolutely. Like there's special moments in time, so that never gets lost. I think player-coach relationships, they're all different. So maybe one day Bryce and I can have a coffee or breakfast and reminisce about this performance. But on the flip side, if we move through life and we never talk about his 59-game performance, I don't think any of us are going to lose any sleep. But it's going to be a very fun memory. And player-coach relationships are bizarre things. I would say I have a good relationship, but if he doesn't text or call, I'm not losing sleep,
The game itself, it felt like, because of what Bryce was doing, the whole building was in celebration mode sort of halfway through the third quarter, and then all of a sudden the Breakers make a run, and you had to dig deep to turn the momentum back in your favour. Is that a great positive to take, that you were able to still come back and finish stronger?
It was good in the fact that Windler and Doolittle were battling a little foul trouble, and those two guys are huge pieces for us at both ends of the floor. So we had to rely on like some guys without the experience and some guys that haven't got much opportunity in the recent games. So for those guys to come in, hold the fort down, while those guys could just cool their heels until the fourth quarter come around, like, it's encouraging, and that our team is hopefully going in the right direction, and like that's why we built the team we did. So we have depth, and in these opportunities we're confident in putting the guys on the floor so they can handle that moment.